Hi guys, Zach here, welcome to Conquer Red Alert video. In this video, it's a casted game of a 4v4 match on the map Twin Lakes. And on team top one in the top middle, we've got Armadillo playing as pink as the allies. So pretty good play there. In the top left position, we've got B-Dizzle, who's playing as the yellow as the Soviets. Further down, we've got Tyranated in orange, playing as the allies. And finally, for Team 1, we've got Pillbox, who's playing as Cyan as the allies. So that's Team 1. Now, on the other team, we've got, in the green, playing as the allies, we've got Dead for Minute. On the middle right, we've got Big Muscles, playing purple as the allies also. And bottom right, we've got Nose, who's in red, playing as the allies as well. And then blue is an unknown player, we'll call him GDK, and he's playing as the Soviets. So those are our two teams. So it's like a left v right, and in this top right position at the moment, we can see that Dead for a Minute is trying to push forward with some infantry, but he's running them in, and when you do that, what sort of happens is you lose a lot more infantry than you kill. So I think that was a bit of a mistake from Dead for a Minute there. He lost quite a few infantry there, which would have been quite a large investment. And those pink infantry are from Armadillo, so he's held that pretty well, and it looks to be a bit of a stalemate here. On the bottom left position, there's Nose trying to push through, and what I think they've done is they've spread their infantry out a little bit too much, and sometimes that's like a bad idea. And Armadillo with the early light tank, he hasn't built a second ore truck yet, but he's just getting that tank in, squashing a few infantry, and now he's going to be getting a bit of visibility. And Dead for a Minute and Big Muscles have both gone for 2 ore trucks straight away, so they've built the ore refinery, and the first unit they've built is an ore truck. And now Armadillo's done the same thing, he just built that early light tank. Now Dead for a Minute coming in with a few light tanks. Armadillo doesn't look like he has much to defend right at this minute, but he is producing light tanks, and Dead for a Minute immediately going for that power plant. If Dead for a Minute can get Armadillo low on power, what that'll mean is that Armadillo will produce tanks more slowly, and I'm going to sure he's going to be on lower power now, and that'll mean he's going to produce tanks a lot slower, and Dead for a Minute is going to try and like just swarm him with tanks. Pick my nose, that player, he's going along the bottom at the moment. It looks like he's going to do an attack on Pillbox and Tyranated, but let's see what's going on here. Still, they're going for the power plants. The thing is though, Dead for a Minute is pulling back now, because what I think he's realised is he's losing too many tanks, and you can see that Armadillo is, even though he's been low on power, he's starting to build up those tank numbers, and that's always a danger when you dive on buildings. Nose going right through Pillbox's base and right through Tyranated base, and it does look like he's going to go for an attack at the back of B-Dizzle's base, and B-Dizzle is obviously trying to help Armadillo at the moment in that fight at the top of the map. And I think Tyranated has just left him, so Nose is going to have a clear run on B-Dizzle's base and going for that construction yard. And now you can see B-Dizzle's noticed, but his tanks are completely out of position because he didn't expect to be attacked from that area, and he's lost his construction yard. And Nose now going for the ore refinery. What I probably would have done here is I would have gone for the power plants, because he's going to be able to get that first ore refinery down, but I don't think he's going to be able to get that second. If he'd got the power plants down, he would have actually lowered the build speed, so B-Dizzle's building speed would have been very low if he'd been able to take out those 2 small power plants. Now B-Dizzle has been able to get, well, Nose is also going for the fight on Armadillo's construction yard, and that construction yard has gone down now. And he's also going for the ore refinery now, so now B-Dizzle and Armadillo can no longer build any more buildings, so any structures they do lose, they're going to lose completely. And we see Nose now going for that ore refinery of Armadillo, and that's his last ore refinery. Let's see, is it going to go down? It looks like it's going to be very close, and it does. So Armadillo is now out of all ore. He's not going to be able to build any more tanks after he uses up this last little bit of ore he's got. So I think he's produced another tank there, but he's not going to be able to do that anymore. So now it's just a case of using the tanks he's got and try to push this attack back that's happening on the top right and see what damage they can do. We can see that this new player, we don't know, Blue JDK, is building some Teslas. So he's just building sort of like a defence to stop any attacks along the bottom of the map. And at the top of the map, B-Dizzle now pushing in to Dead for a Minute space. We've got Dead for a Minute in green and Big Muscles in purple, both defending. And we'll have to see how this goes. But B-Dizzle seems to have a good tank number. Those are also heavy tanks, so they're a bit stronger than the light tanks of Dead for a Minute and Big Muscles. Tyranated is also at the top of the map, and Nose is trying to come in with some red light tanks, and Tyranated is defending against that, so Nose having to pull back. Big B-Dizzle pushing further into the base. We can see it's quite even at the moment between the light tanks of purple and green and the yellow tanks of B-Dizzle. I think B-Dizzle's also going for some of the building kills as well, and Dead for a Minute is taking that construction yard, that MCV away. He's packed it up and he's trying to move it, and B-Dizzle going for that ore refinery. So now the ore refinery of Dead for a Minute has been destroyed, and he's also sold up his war factory. But having a look at his funds, he might not be able to build any more ore refineries, so he's just got the tanks that he's left with now. And B-Dizzle going for the attack on Purple's construction yard, and Pillbox going for an attack here. He's managed to get some tanks around, sort of, and he's just done an attack on the top of GDK's base, and we can see some transport ships there, which is where the attack originated from, I would guess, because he does have some Tesla coils defending that bottom pass. Now in Purple's base, we see that Purple and Green, they've managed to destroy B-Dizzle's tanks, and B-Dizzle sort of regrouping, and Armadillo's still got some light tanks left in that top right corner. Now there's a fight between Nose and Tyranated on the gem patch in the middle of the map, and it looks like Nose has a better tank numbers, and he's going to get the upper hand in this tank fight. And here there's Big Muscles in purple fighting against Armadillo and B-Dizzle, and Dead for a Minute also joining the fight now. But what we have to remember is tanks lost by Dead for a Minute and tanks lost by Armadillo are not going to be replaceable. And those light tanks now fighting, and B-Dizzle's we can see those heavy tanks filtering in. He does have 3 war factories, so he's producing at a decent pace. It just his economy isn't brilliant because of that attack early on by Nose on that construction yard, and now we see Nose destroying the last buildings of Armadillo, and Pillbox and a little attack from the middle there. He's just unloaded some transport ships, and he's going to go for another attack on the bottom of the map. And now we can see Tyranated trying to defend B-Dizzle's base. He's building his tanks up along that narrow pass. Now we have to see, will Nose notice Pillbox's troops at the bottom of the map? And we see Tyranated and Nose having a little fight there, and it looks like B-Dizzle's going to lose that battle there against Big Muscles, and Nose's tanks are starting to break through. They're destroying B-Dizzle's ore refinery, and there his ore refinery goes down. And what that means is that B-Dizzle is no longer going to be able to produce any tanks because he doesn't have any ore left. He's not collected any. And now we see Nose trying to defeat the final buildings of B-Dizzle to get rid of those few tanks that he's got left. He's took out all the war factories now, and now he's just got a power plant to destroy. But we can see Pillbox trying to filter a few tanks into Nose's base, and Big Muscles coming in now fighting Tyranated. Now Tyranated has switched to medium tanks. Big Muscles is still using light tanks. Those medium tanks do have a lot more HP, and they're probably going to be quite useful when we've got these bottlenecks because they're just a little bit more durable. But now we see GDK and Nose reacting to that little force from Pillbox that he'd sent into Nose's base, and he hasn't been able to do too much damage. GDK still having those tanks blocking that bottom left position. And actually, while Nose's tanks and GDK's tanks were out of position, it could have been an opportunity for Pillbox to do an attack along the bottom and get rid of those 2 Tesla coils. But further up the map, there is Big Muscles against Tyranated, and we see Tyranated has got the upper hand in that fight and being able to destroy those tanks from Big Muscles. And we can see Big Muscles now seems to be building medium tanks as well. And we'll have to see, is Tyranated going to push over, or is he going to just hold his position for now? We can see Nose bringing a force of tanks up to the top of the map, and he's also bringing an MCV, which he's going to try and deploy there, because what quite often happens on this map is players try to deploy MCVs in the middle of the map and use those gems. And if we look at Big Muscle's side of the map, he could do with that now because he's running out of ore close to his base. But we see this transport ship with tanks from Pillbox, and it looks like he's attacking Nose's recently formed base. He's got that MCV down, and he looks like he's going to take that ore refinery down. So Nose has wasted a few funds there producing that middle base, which isn't going to be useful for him at this point in time. And we can see why Nose is keen on getting that base in the middle, because he's also running out of ore on at his base. But here we see Tyranated fighting against Big Muscles and Nose, and it looks like there's too many tanks there for the time being, and Tyranated is going to need to pull back, because though that number of tanks isn't going to be able to do much, he still seems to be fighting on, but he needs to pull back to that point, that bottleneck nearer his base, and hopefully be able to implement some base defences there. Also, we can see that Big Muscles now is trying to sort of expand towards that ore patch in the top right, which was dead for minutes, but it's still got a lot of ore there at that position right at this moment. Now there's Nose and there's Big Muscles, but it looks like Pillbox is going to send some reinforcements to help defend Tyranated's base. And we've got some tanks from Pillbox in the middle of the map still, denying that ore patch from Nose. And now Tyranated and Pillbox are pushing up at the top of the map, and it looks like they're on the retreat for now. Tyranated using medium tanks and Pillbox still using light tanks. It looks like the other two teams have also converted to medium tanks, and Nose sending some reinforcements up along the middle of the map. Now at the moment it's a question of, can Big Muscles and Nose get their economies under control, because Nose did try and get the MCV but lost it. GDK still has those tanks defending the bottom part of the map. Really what he should be doing now is putting some pressure on Pillbox at the bottom, and that would make the top fight much harder. Nose though bringing a big force up along the top part of this map and now fighting Tyranated, and this is a big fight here. They've got about equal tank numbers, but I think actually Nose has got a few more now because he's just bringing reinforcements in. But we can see that Pillbox behind in Cyan is bringing some reinforcements, and what Tyranated should do is he should take those orange tanks back and fight with Pillbox. But he's losing those tanks now, and Nose still has a big force left, and now he goes for the attack on Pillbox. Those light tanks stationary at the moment, and if they're stationary, what that means is they're going to take a lot more damage. So I think Pillbox has been taken off guard a bit there, and he's losing quite a few tanks, and we can see why. He's planning a crossing on the middle lake, because I think Nose has probably got another base there. He's started to build, and we can see indeed he has. So those tanks landing, and now Pillbox is going to try and do what he did earlier and take out that middle base of Nose. And if he can get that middle base out, I've just having a look there, some purple ore trucks doing some long distance mining from the middle of the map. Now Pillbox does the attack. He's gone for the ore truck first, and now he's going for the ore refinery. But Nose has noticed, he's bringing tanks back, and he's also built a war factory, which is going to mean tanks are going to be produced in that middle of the map. He's got a Pillbox as well, and it looks like this time Blues also, JDK's also coming to help, and this time it looks like Pillbox isn't going to be able to deny Nose of that middle base, and this is very, very significant because Nose is now mining gems from the middle of the map, and he's just going to continue expanding that economy in the middle, and I think that's probably going to be a game-winning move there, because once you get that economy going in the middle of the map, it becomes very hard to stop that play. Tyranated now bringing an MCV up north. He's going to try and establish a little base in that top left position, and we're going to see if this is possible. But Nose bringing tanks to that top left position also, and we'll have to see. So Nose has got a decent number of tanks there. Pillbox has got some tanks, and also Tyranated's got some medium tanks, and we can see Tyranated taking that MCV back. The problem is Tyranated doesn't have any ore near close to home, and that's going to be a big problem because he's not going to be able to replace that tanks unless he gets access to ore. And now we can see that Pillbox and Tyranated are losing the tanks to Nose, but Pillbox has got a few reinforcements in, and we'll have to see how this goes. The thing is though, Nose has got a good economy going now. Big Muscles bringing some tanks in also, and GDK has also built some MiGs, so he's doing some air assaults on the base of Tyranated and the base of Pillbox, and bringing some paratroopers there to destroy that radar dome, giving Pillbox a bit less visibility. Now we see this fight in the top left. It looks to be going slightly in Nose's favour probably. Pillbox he's got some reinforcements, and now Tyranated is trying to bring that MCV in, but now Big for Muscles coming in with those medium tanks. He's got quite a lot, and this looks like it's going to turn the tide of this battle. It was quite even before, but now with this number of tanks, it looks like Big Muscles and Nose are going to get the upper hand, and that base from Tyranated, as soon as those tanks go, will be stopped, and we could just see Pillbox and Tyranated losing tanks quickly, and that mass from Nose and Big Muscles is just too much, and those buildings are going down. We see those two ore refineries are going to be making short work of from those medium tanks. I think the big mistake in this game was near the start of the match. I think what Tyranated and Pillbox needed to do is they needed to put pressure on the bottom of the map. They needed to attack GDK, because I think GDK is the weakest player here. And if they'd done that attack early on and put pressure on that middle player, Nose would have had to sort of like be on the defensive or fight at Pillboxes and Tyranated bases. Instead, what Nose got to do is he managed to run through both their bases, attack B Dizzle, attack Armadillos, attack their construction yard, because I think Armadillo and B Dizzle would have won the top of that map if Nose hadn't done that. So I think it was just they were just a bit passive at the start, and I think that really cost them in that game. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.